Hello, is this Catherine? Can you come over for a bit?
It was a call from Michelle, my husband's younger sister. She sounded panicked, really on edge. Michelle's house is just a short walk away. I got it, I'll head over right now. When I arrived at Michelle's, I was led to a room full of buzzing bees. What the heck is this?
When I opened this cardboard box, they just came flying out.
I figured we had to call Michelle's husband, Bob, who was at the coffee shop, so I dialed him up. Talking in a room full of bees seemed like a bad idea, so Michelle and I stepped outside. The three of us gathered at the front porch. I then asked Michelle. So, Michelle, why do you have that box of bees in your house?
I don't know. I just picked it up because it was left in front of my house.
That can't be. That box was sent to me from my daughter, Emily. My name's Catherine Jones. I'm a 65-year-old working part-time at a local supermarket. One thing that hasn't changed since I was a kid is my love for stuffed animals and teddy bears. Growing up, we didn't have much money, so I couldn't often get stuffed animals or teddy bears. But now that I'm an adult, every time I travel or go out, I buy a teddy bear. Collecting them has become my joy. The person who indulges this childlike hobby of mine is my husband, Larry Jones. Larry works at the town city hall. About a year ago, there was a teddy bear I desperately wanted. It was a limited edition online item, a collaboration between a popular brand and character. However, I had never shopped online. I was gonna give up on getting it. That's when I was talking to Larry about it. Leave the online shopping to me. We recently started ordering things online at my workplace.
Really?
Yes. So, I'll order it for you.
Oh, Larry, you're always so reliable, thank you.
With that, Larry promptly took out his laptop and showed me how to order, helping me through the process. Whenever I had troubles, Larry was always there to help. After that, I began to order everything online, from daily necessities and groceries to even teddy bears. Around December of that year, the supermarket I worked at entered its busiest season. Being an experienced person at the job, I started working almost every day. With that, I had limited time to pick up items I'd ordered online. Larry was even busier. Because of this, I decided to reconsider how I received my deliveries. Recently, I learned that there's a way to have my packages left by the front door. Even if no one is home, they'd leave the package at the front door. So, from then on, I've primarily been using this service for my packages. Just the other day, while I was on break at work, I received an email from the delivery service. It was a notification that my package had been delivered. I'd received similar emails many times before, so it was same as usual. I noticed something odd when I got home later. Entering the gate of my house and arriving in front of the door, I looked around at the ground. But the package that should have arrived wasn't in its usual place. Thinking of other possibilities, I stepped back outside the gate. Strange. I muttered. The sound of crows echoed in the sunset-colored sky. Larry hadn't returned from work yet, but it was about time he'd be coming home. With dinner to prepare before he got back, I decided to put the delivery issue aside and went inside. Once I began cooking, I got so focused on the task that I completely forgot about the missing package. The following days were busy with house chores and work, and I hadn't found the time to address the undelivered package. Then, on a Sunday morning that weekend, while watching the news, Larry said, "I'm in the mood for that omelette." That omelette refers to one from a cafe we often visit. That cafe is run by Larry's sister, Michelle, and her husband, Bob, is the chef and owner of the place. Both of us, having a rare day off, decided on a whim to visit that cafe. Larry suggested, "Would you like to go that cafe?"
Sounds good, let's go.
I agreed. Though we call it our favorite spot, we only go about once a month. Usually, it's when either Larry or I express a desire to visit. That's because Bob's omelets are exceptional and one of Larry's favorite dishes. That day, like many others, we decided to head over to that cafe. The cafe is just around the corner from our house. Under a cloudless blue sky, the two of us walked towards the cafe. Upon opening the door of the cafe, a metal doorbell jingled.
Welcome. Hey, here you are. Thanks for coming in, please take a seat at the counter.
We were guided to seats right in front of the kitchen counter. Well, both of you together. How are y'all doing?
As always, we're doing well.
Even though there were only 4 people inside, the atmosphere felt bustling. I really love this cheerful vibe, thinking this place is wonderful. Bob, can we get 2 of the usual?
Leave it to me.
With that, Bob began cooking. He skillfully cracked and whisked 4 eggs, pouring them onto a pan and shaping them. He served them onto 2 plates. Lastly, he added some Italian parsley and passed it to Michelle. Here you go, 2 servings of omelets. This is so delicious. I've had it many times and know the taste, but it's the kind of dish I suddenly crave and it's always delicious. After we finished eating, we were served coffee. This dish is always so tasty, isn't it?
Thank you.
With that, Michelle sat across the counter facing me. That's when I noticed something. Michelle was wearing earrings that looked just like the ones I'd ordered online. Without thinking, I was like, Michelle, those earrings are so cute. Where did you get them? Michelle replied with a smile.
Oh, really? Thank you. I got them online.
Yeah, online shopping sure is handy. Michelle nodded and said, Yeah, that's right. But when I'm running this cafe all the time, I hardly get back home during the day. I don't even have time to receive packages. Well, how about asking to have your packages left by door? Michelle looked a bit surprised and asked, Is there such a thing? At that point, I decided to explain the concept of the service in detail. As I was explaining, I recalled and shared my own experience with it at home. It's a good service, but sometimes there are mistakes. There have been a few instances where I haven't received my packages even though I've paid for them. I really should call the courier company about it, but I just haven't had the time. Michelle responded empathetically. Oh, I see. So, that happens. I took this moment to check a status of my packages to be delivered. At the top of the list, the limited edition teddy bear I ordered was shown as preparing for shipment. I pointed it out to Michelle and said, Look, Michelle. It says it hasn't been delivered yet. Then, I pointed to the second item which read delivered. It was a cosmetic product. I said, This should have already arrived at my place, but it hasn't. That's strange. I hope you find it. At that moment, I looked over at Larry. Larry and his friends were having a different conversation, but soon they joined in on our topic. Well, guess we should just wait for it to be delivered someday, he said with a carefree smile. Larry's always been such a laid-back guy, he doesn't seem to take things too seriously. We continued our casual chat for a while before leaving the cafe. On the way home, I impulsively checked the delivery history on my smartphone. Nothing had changed, most of the packages were marked as delivered. I wondered why it hadn't arrived and thought of various possible reasons. Maybe the local post office was holding it, or it got delivered to the wrong house. I was pretty sure no one in my neighborhood would just take a package left outside someone else's door. Right now, I was mostly concerned about whether that limited edition teddy bear would be delivered as promised. Whether or not I pursued the issue would depend on if that teddy bear arrived. That's what I was thinking to myself. 2 days had passed since I went to the coffee shop. Right after work, I eagerly checked my smartphone. At last, the delivery status of the limited edition teddy bear I had been longing for read delivered. I quickly changed out of my work clothes and started to walk home faster. Once home, I looked for the package. But I couldn't find a box anywhere. I still hadn't figured out why the package hadn't arrived at my place, and I was getting pretty frustrated. Up until now, the only items that hadn't been delivered were cosmetics and condiments, so I wasn't in a rush. But this time was different. The teddy bear I had been eagerly waiting for, which was supposed to be part of my collection, hadn't arrived. I decided to get to the bottom of this. That evening, I talked to Larry. I didn't receive the teddy bear that was supposed to arrive today. That's bad. How many times has this happened now? Probably about 3 times. Something's not right. Oh, I'm gonna call the post office now. Let's do that. I called the nearest post office. But as expected, no good news. The delivery man answered the call. I can't find the package you said you left at the door. Really? I'm sure I left it right in front of your door. I thought maybe you still had it. What's going on? Well, there's a possibility someone stole it. You might want to file a police report. Thanks. I'll think about it. Both of our spirits seemed to sink. For some reason, I felt sorry for the delivery man too. Even if I wanted to file a theft report, I didn't have any solid proof, and I was hesitant. That's when Larry said,
"Let's ask Emily. She might know a solution."
Emily is our daughter, who turned 40 this year. Now, she's married and living in her husband's house, seemingly swamped with chores and work every day. Thinking it might be easier to discuss with my daughter Emily, I decided to ask her for advice.
"Hello, Emily?
Hey, it's Emily.
What's up? I've been having an issue for the past month. The packages I've been expecting haven't been arriving."
I thoroughly explained to Emily the situation with the recent missing deliveries. Of course, I also mentioned that the delivery guy was certain he had dropped them off.
"That sounds like someone might be taking them." "I thought so too. What should I do?"
"If your packages are being stolen every time, I've got an idea." She chuckled a bit and then came up with a wild suggestion. "I'm gonna send over a box of bees. If we leave it out for delivery, maybe we can catch the thief red-handed when they open it. What do you think?" To be honest, the idea seemed way too bold, but it might be worth a try.
"Can you really do that?"
"Don't worry about it. We have a huge swarm of bees back home, and this might just help us catch the culprit quickly." I was skeptical but hopeful, so I waited for the bee-filled package. A few days later, after work, I checked my phone and saw that the anticipated delivery had been made. When I got home, just like always, the package was nowhere to be found. I wasn't sure if this was a good or bad sign, but there was nothing I could do about it. Honestly, I was about to give up. At that moment, my smartphone buzzed. It was a call from Michelle.
"Hello, Catherine? Can you come over for a bit?"
Her voice sounded urgent, almost panicky. Michelle's place was just a short walk away. "Sure, I'll be right there." When I got to Michelle's house, she led me to her room. And to my surprise, the room was filled with bees flying everywhere. "Oh my gosh, what happened?"
"When I opened this box, this is what I found inside."
First, I was shocked to find bees buzzing all around the room, and even more shocked to find out that Michelle was the culprit. I had been told by Emily that bees don't sting at this time of year unless they're provoked. So, I had been stung yet, but I was not sure about Michelle. I thought I should call Bob, who should be at the coffee shop, so I dialed his number. Thinking it'd be difficult to discuss in a room full of bees, Michelle and I stepped outside. The three of us gathered at the front door. I then asked Michelle. "So, Michelle, any idea why there's a box of bees in this house?"
"I have no clue. I just picked up and opened the box that was outside." "That can't be right. That box was sent to me from my daughter, Emily." "I told you, I don't know." "Michelle, did you steal it?" "I said no, didn't I?"
Michelle raised her voice. "If you say you didn't, mind if I take a look inside? Maybe other stolen stuff might pop out?"
"No way. Let me check the room quickly."
Saying that, Michelle went into the room, not letting me enter. I had no choice but to wait outside.
"What's going on here?"
I had ordered to have my packages left by the front door and it never arrived these days. I talked to my daughter about it possibly being stolen, and that's why she sent those bees. As I was explaining to Bob, we heard Michelle scream. She probably got stung by a bee in her panic. Michelle came out looking disheveled. She was like,
"The room's a mess with those bees flying around, so I'd appreciate it if you'd head home for today."
She indicated that she wouldn't be letting anyone in her room today because of the bees. Then, an unfamiliar person approached us. It was a beekeeper named Oliver, a friend of Emily's living nearby. After a quick introduction, Oliver said, "Emily asked me to help with the bee situation. Is it okay if I handle it here?"
"Yes, please. We'd appreciate it."
While Michelle was flustered, Bob and I led Oliver inside the house. While waiting for the bees to be collected, we continued talking outside. "I guess we'll be able to check the room today. But I've only got stuff I bought." "There's no point in checking." Michelle was suddenly very assertive. She probably intends to insist that everything in there was hers. 30 minutes later, Oliver completed collecting 900 honeybees. 900. Shocked by the sheer number of bees, the three of us entered the room. I took a quick look around the room. Then I started searching every corner. To my surprise, I found daily necessities like the fabric softener and cosmetics I had ordered scattered here and there.
"So, you've been taking all of these too, huh?"
"No, I told you." I showed her the order history on my phone that had those products listed.
You still gonna deny this?
Well, there's a chance we just bought the same things, right? I was slightly exasperated, but I didn't give up. I searched for that teddy bear. And, near the edge of the sofa, I found a familiar-looking teddy bear. Is this teddy bear also one you bought? Yes. I knew this teddy bear was a limited edition and each had its own serial number. So, I checked the number for my teddy bear on my phone and compared it to the number on this one. Both had the same 5-digit number.
This teddy bear is mine. See? It has the same number.
I showed it to Michelle and Bob.
I didn't know modern stuffed animals could do that.
Bob muttered. Michelle just sat on the sofa and looked down, silent.
So, it was you who was stealing from our house every time?
Yes. Michelle's voice grew heavy.
What did you take? You haven't been using them all this time, have you?
I used a bit of the toner and some imported seasonings.
Why would you do something like that?
More than being angry about having things stolen, I wanted to know her motive.
I was out of money. The amount I was spending exceeded what I had, that's all. But why spend so much? What did you spend it on?
Well, Michelle's words faltered. It seemed she was hiding something and didn't want to talk about it. Suddenly, Bob moved quickly and picked up a piece of paper that had fallen under the couch.
Hey, what's this? Don't tell me you've been.
Saying this, Bob showed a piece of paper with numbers and an amount.
I'm sorry, I got really into it.
The paper Bob showed was a horse racing ticket. It turned out that Michelle had gotten heavily into horse racing and used the money she saved by using my stolen items on bets. Then Bob dropped another bombshell.
You didn't, by chance, take money from our cafe's earnings, did you?
Just a little bit.
I knew something was off with the profits. How could you?
Turns out she had embezzled tens of thousands of dollars from their cafe.
I'm so sorry. I promise I won't do anything like this again. Please forgive me.
Michelle cried loudly, apologizing. But for me, having my cherished teddy bear stolen even once was unforgivable. Her apologies did nothing to move my heart. Bob looked equally irritated. Turns out, I've been secretly recording our conversation since the bee removal. Shall we meet in court? With solid evidence in hand, Bob and I decided to file a police report. Bob decided to get divorced with her. After that, charges of theft concerning my belongings and embezzlement in the course of her duties were brought against Michelle. It seemed she was eventually arrested. We were satisfied with the outcome. Bob's cafe hired part-time workers, and sales began to rise steadily. By the way, I was given the opportunity to become the part-time team leader there.
Michelle got arrested, I heard.
It's for the best. I'm better off without someone like her. Being surrounded by hardworking folks makes me much happier now.
Yes, let's keep up the good work.
It seems like Bob is already looking forward. From then on, I started receiving packages left at my door. Of course, many new teddy bears joined my collection. Larry and I even went on trips to collect limited edition teddy bears from various places, and every day is blissful, surrounded by all these teddy bears with Larry.